Hey y'all, so I have something really exciting to share. Very few people know, but I guess after this, lots of people will know. But if you're a person that believes in or loves to hear of stories that really truly only God could do, stick around. Okay, so back in, goodness gracious, where do I start, you guys? Okay, back in early 2022, a friend and I, we had been talking for a while about sitting down and writing a song together, and we just still hadn't done it. Well, we finally did. And it was a beautiful song, very, very personal to me, very healing for me after some pretty big church hurt back in 2020. And so it was a big deal. It was like a huge milestone. The church that I was in was another huge milestone in that. And so it was a beautiful thing. Now, what I remember from that, I mean, I remember a lot of things, but one of the things that I remember in that writing session, so her and I, we sat down, and I think we sat down together for probably like it took us maybe 6 hours, which I guess for maybe some people that's long, I don't know. But we finished it, from start to finish, we finished it. And, the Lord had given me some words the night before, and I jotted those down, and that's where we started. And I remember that if I look over there, it's because I'm looking at my couch, which is where we sat down and did this. But anyway, so we had gotten to a point where we were a little bit stuck. And she's just sitting there and she's strumming. And I have this phrase in my mind that I'm like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. What is that? But I literally, it got to the point that I couldn't think of anything else. It got to the point that like, that was all I heard. That was all I could think. And I'm like, what the heck is this? And she looks over at me and she's still just strumming peacefully. And she's like, Alba, what are you thinking? And I was like, so this might sound a little weird, but writing on the wall? And she goes, Alba, are you sure about that? And I was like, I don't know why. And at the time I had never read Daniel. And so she goes ahead and she tells me about Daniel 5, and it's the writing on the wall. And she tells me about it, and it is so on point for what we're writing. That again, it was an only God moment. There's more, I promise. And I was like, well, considering the fact that I couldn't possibly think of anything else and had no idea what it meant, and here I am and I say it. And she had literally just studied it earlier that week herself. And so it was very much, okay, it's supposed to be there. And so then kind of fast forward, here we are in 2025. And, the Lord's been taking me on a journey that has been one of the most challenging seasons of my life, but also so rewarding, and so pressing into his word and pressing into his will. And sometime last year, maybe, I don't know, maybe in August or September or something, I sat down and I just started reading the word. And I started in the Old Testament, I'd started in the New Testament, and then I hit a point, I don't know where, I had hit a point that I was like, okay, I need to start from the beginning. And so I did. And timeline wise, I don't remember. Okay. But, sometime in November, I think I was in Kings. And then I think it was after that I started in Genesis. And then I've been reading in order ever since. Here we are. This much of my Bible. With the exception of Psalms and Proverbs. I've kind of, I've been jumping, like I hop in and out of that one, for myself for fun. Because obviously like the Heavy Testament can be considered a little bit on the heavy side, and historical side. So I wasn't sure what to expect, but anyway, but this much of my Bible. Okay. And then here I am. And, Sunday morning, I was kind of on the emotional side, I guess, because of some things that I was reading. And then fast forward to Monday and Tuesday of this week. So Tuesday, I had finished reading chapter 5, which was the writing on the wall. And not that the song was based on that by any means. It's mentioned in here, or in that song. And so here I am, and I'm sitting there, and I'm finishing my study on Daniel 5. And I have this feeling of, it's time. And I think, time for what? The song pops in my head, of course. I mean, I'm reading this, it was pretty monumental, right? And I'm like, for that? Really? So then, I mean, you guys saw my videos on Tuesday, where I was kind of like, just feeling a little off, right? Okay. And not that excitement wasn't wholly there, but just, just, I guess, processing. I don't know. Anyway, so I have this client, and she's so wonderful. And her and I, when we get to, we have church. Like we talk biblical things, Holy Spirit things. I've shared things with her that I haven't shared with many people at all. And it is the biggest blessing. I love her so much. And I love her heart, and I love that you can do that, because everybody needs somebody that they can do that with. And so she's telling me about some things that have been on her heart lately. And she's telling me about, the people that she meets and the friends that she makes, and how, this idea of like, maybe church isn't the building, obviously, right? Like the church is the people. And I don't think she used the word cleanse, but basically like the stripping of titles, the stripping of religion in church, and which was beautiful. And guys, I'm so sorry, I cannot remember what she said, but there was something that she said that just pierced me. The ones that go deep, right? And she looks at me, and she knows, because everything's on my face. Everything's on my face. And she's like, well, what is it? And I was like, well, I had this feeling this morning that it's time for me to share something that was near and dear to my heart and a huge part of my healing journey. And it was a song that I wrote back in 2022 with a friend of mine. And there was something else too, that she had mentioned. Oh, when she was talking about like the people that you meet and all these things. One of the things, there's a reason that this all comes together. So the friend that I wrote the song with, as she's telling me, this about like what she's been feeling and the stirring of her heart lately, in the people that you meet. And one of the things that came to mind while she was talking was a conversation that I had with the friend that I wrote the song with. And she had said, I shared it. I hate when messages come through while I'm talking. Okay. But I had what I saw in my head. Like, I felt like the Lord was showing me, Alba, do you remember this? And that friend that I wrote the song with, in one of our very first conversations of her and I sitting down together, she had said to me, like, I wonder why the Lord put two of us in the same house, like, as far as like gaining territory and things like that. And she didn't know it, but I'm like, girl, this was a woman that I have learned so much from. I have grown so much with. And there's very few people in this world that I would say are truly connected with the Holy Spirit, and she's one of them. And so anyway, so that's where like, it was like another thing that had happened before that like was leading up to this. And so then I had said like, oh, it's, I am wanting to, I guess I felt like the Lord was telling me that I need to share the song. And she goes, well, can I hear it? And so then I read it to her. And so I read all the lyrics, and it was like so on point with everything that we were talking about. And she had kind of shared a couple pieces of what she had picked up from it and things like that. And then she asked me, so when did you write that? And I knew that the lyrics I was looking at wasn't the correct date. I was like, you know what? I do have the original date on here. Let me look. And so I go through my recordings on my phone, and I was like, oh, I wrote it. So her and I wrote it together on March 11th, 2022. And she goes, but that's today. And man, y'all, like, the way that my body practically started shaking. Just, are you kidding me? Like, here I am, in this beautiful season of life, and it could not have been more perfectly timed for me to land and finish my self-study on Daniel 5, the writing on the wall, the day, 3 years later. If you've ever questioned if God is real and if God is working in your favor and leaving you all these little hints and telling you all these little things to catch, or doing all these little things to catch your attention, he is. Keep your eyes open. Anyway, happy to share. And so, yeah, now to work on bringing out this song. Okay, love you guys. Bye.